Ismail,
Russia
MUTSOLGOV.
Well, here comes Ismail MUTSOLGOV, who has been really impressive during the course of this tournament. Had a bye in the round of 64. Unanimous point decision winner over Traore of Greece. In the round of 16, he beat David Schiefer on a unanimous point decision verdict when the German suffered a leg injury in round number 3, and then at the quarterfinal stage,
And now would you please
Alan
welcome
Perry of
his
Scotland
opponent in
was
the
given a
blue corner
variety of
from
southpaw
Mali,
left hands to the body,
Traore
and 8 points in round 3. Rounds, but had been pushed back in the first round by Usaid. He gave so much to carry out that tactic that he practically had nothing left in the second round and fought this man's fight for rounds 2 and 3. And it was the man from Mali who prevailed on a unanimous decision. And then Sergio Martinez of Spain in the quarterfinals looked to go toe-to-toe with Traore, backed him up at times, but his efforts were so forceful that he spat his mouthpiece out 3 times, got Dr. Point, and that sealed his fate. Martinez beaten on a unanimous point decision in a toe-to-toe battle, but this a contest between the front foot pressure of the man in blue, DJIBRIL Traore of Mali, and the wonderful flow state boxing that MUTSOLGOV, the number 6 seed, can produce at his best. Traore looks to get over that front foot, get into short and mid-range, and just let attritional punches go in a bid to take over contest in the 3rd and final round. Whereas MUTSOLGOV possesses that loose limb style, looking like a smaller version of Dimitri Bivol at times. Very effective boxer is MUTSOLGOV, and that left hand out of the southpaw stance to the body is a really prominent punch in his repertoire. And there it is, turned in as a bolo shot before a right hand came behind it. Uppercut underneath, left cross, and a bolo shot to the body once again. And if he continues to invest in body shots like that, it could well slow down the movement of the man from Mali. Remember, he began his tournament in the round of 64, and even though he's here in the medal stages, every one of his victories has been attritional. Left cross not too far away from MUTSOLGOV, and he's taking good advantage of his greater length, height and reach. Adopting the cross-arm guard a few moments ago was Traore. He scored with a thrusting right cross to the body, and with the arms covering the torso, the right jab came upstairs. And because the punches are coming from the belt line, they could be from out of the line of sight of Traore, who's looking to rumble and roll his way to the inside to let bent-arm punches go to the torso of his opponent, but he's not been able to get there. And MUTSOLGOV doing an outstanding job maintaining the gap, spinning around the line, and there's another bolo backhand beneath the elbows of Traore. But remember, in 2 instances here at Dubai 2025, he has lost the first 2 rounds in his 4 victories and has still prevailed, because make no mistake, he's going to come knocking on the door in the 3rd and final round and see what you have left. Double jab saw set up the right cross, which I think did get through to the body of MUTSOLGOV. And MUTSOLGOV doing an outstanding job maintaining the gap, feeds his opponent a right jab, left cross. Traore had success, but the final word coming from MUTSOLGOV as he spun out of the corner. And he's controlling the tempo very effectively indeed. Look at that right jab, left cross, which sent Traore tottering backwards a few moments ago. Traore gets in with a right hand to the body, but just spinning off the ropes and back to the space of ring center with the gap between him and extending another right jab, left cross, left hand bolo shot to the body is MUTSOLGOV. Brilliant round of boxing to nullify the attempted pressure of Traore.
I've never seen him live before this competition, but he is really, really good, as you just said there, because he can do a bit of everything. He's tall and kind of spidery, and he does use that reach every now and again when he chooses to, but he splits that stance quite wide, so he's got a strong base to punch from. You can see it there as he just pumps out that 1-2, but he can also just turn around that front foot. Ideally, we'll get a good example of it here, and what it means is that if you've got someone who's trying to get on him, he just keeps them moving and keeps them turning, and they're never really set, and when they're trying to set, he's hitting them. And he's happy to dig his toes in at close distance as well and work you over. So, as you said, he's not going to be panicking about not winning the first round there, Traore, but that's a comprehensive first round defeat. And I don't think that was 10-8 territory, but it wasn't a million miles away, because MUTSOLGOV just lets his hands go and he doesn't miss with much, does he?
Certainly doesn't.
Round 2.
Unerring accuracy from the southpaw shots of Ismail MUTSOLGOV, and so having conceded the first round, which has happened before here at Dubai 2025, but not in a manner such as that, because he's been over in Ring B. Traore, I've commentated on all of his contests, and now he's trying to quicken up the feet and pick up the tempo, but MUTSOLGOV keeping his composure and just continuing to circle around his man. And look at that, Traore launching hooks only to find his opponent has ghosted away. But Traore, as is his wont, as he takes another left-hand bolo shot to the body. Traore does get close with a burst of punches downstairs, but Traore elects to remain on his feet in between rounds. Takes a left cross. That just stops his forward advance. And the contests that he's had so far have been so attritional, and as mentioned, some of the opponents have given so much to hang. Oh my goodness. Well, he's been docked a point for failing to keep his head up, but that's how the man boxes. He's a shorter boxer. He looks to exacerbate that disparity in height, to give the opponent nothing to hit, and yet in trying to employ that tactic and get down low to present a smaller target, he's been docked a point, which means he's going to have to try and stand up straight now, and then he's going to get run onto straight shots like that. So Traore's got real problems here. I really feel for the man.
That's crazy from the referee there, I think.
My goodness, because yeah, some of the very best in the business, that is what they do. Does anybody do it better than Hassan Boy does Matov? Invariably smaller, shorter than everybody he faces. He dips down at the knees, sticks his glutes backwards, and all you can see are gloves and forearms. Traore was looking to do the same, as evidenced there on that dip and on that roll, and he's been penalized for it. But back to the boxing with a minute remaining. Traore's been docked a point for his not keeping his head up, and that just adds to the difficulties that he's facing here. So this is where normally Traore seeks to come on strong, and you can see that MUTSOLGOV just initiating a few more clinches, slings in a left hook to the body because he's been expending an awful lot of energy. He hasn't been skitting around the boxing ring, as he's spoken to again in really forceful terms. And now Traore, this is where he begins to bring the heat and seek to apply more front foot pressure. And MUTSOLGOV holding his feet, and now Traore will feel that he's got him right where he wants him. But how discouraged will he have been by having that point taken away from him, from trying to utilize and implement part of his strategy that is such an integral part of his boxing. Right hand over the top, not too far away from Traore, and just breathing through an open mouth and a little less fluid with his movement now, but he did end the round with a good 1-2, is MUTSOLGOV. But that point deduction.
Yeah, the point deductions, I think, going to make it basically impossible for him in the third and final round, because MUTSOLGOV again did some good work in that round. He let his hands go. He was looking a little bit tired towards the end of the round because he's being made to work hard, but the style that Traore's get is a perfectly normal, acceptable style. As you say, he looks to bob and weave and get his way onto the inside. He'll dip those knees to try and just drop his height, so he's not just dipping his head and coming steaming in, bringing in the head low. He's not flinging himself in recklessly from the outside with his feet not underneath him and therefore not in control of what's happening with his head. And for the referee just to take a point there, well, that's just taken the win completely and utterly out of his sails. I think MUTSOLGOV is going to prove to be too much for him. He'll just have to go hell for leather in this final round now, Traore, and see what happens. But like you, I can't find myself agreeing with that from the ref. It was harsh.
So as we move into the third and final round, Ismail MUTSOLGOV has boxed very efficiently, setting out his stall in the opening round. He was effective in the second. DJIBRIL Traore did get closer, but prior to getting closer towards the end of round number 3, he was docked a point for not keeping his head up. But this is how the man has boxed all court tournament long. It's how he boxed to claim himself an African Continental bronze at the edition in Kinshasa, DR Congo, back in 2024. And exactly the tactics he uses, he lands a good right hook on the inside to claim a silver medal at the Eindhoven Box Cup in the summer. And yet it's been penalized here as he's run on to 2 stiff punches, right jab, left cross. And now you can see Traore not feeling as though he's being persecuted by the referee here, because he's being penalized for dipping his head, and he's saying that my guy's pushing down on the back of his neck. That's what he's saying to the referee, saying that MUTSOLGOV is preventing him from working. MUTSOLGOV keeping his composure under fire, and then claims Traore and gets him back to the space of center ring. A nice southpaw lead left hook a few moments ago, followed by an uppercut. And the attempted front foot pressure. Well, the referee's intervening an awful lot here, and Traore cannot find any rhythm or flow. And when you're a boxer of this nature, the late great Dwight Muhammad Karwi, Smoking Joe Frazier, guys who like to get over the front foot and rumble their way forwards, rhythm absolutely crucial. And if that keeps being interrupted by the third man in the ring, well, it makes their challenge even more difficult, because invariably boxers who apply this type of style are more compact than their opponent. So that's why they have to utilize it in a bid to get onto the inside. It makes for often a really exciting type of boxer, but if their forward progress is constantly intervened or constantly interrupted by the third man in the ring, well, they can seldom establish the momentum that is such a key component of their success. So it's been a rather staccato third round. Traore able to get up close now, but tucking up behind his elbows and forearms is
He's completely obsessed with the fighters keeping their heads up, the referee. He's completely obsessed with it.
And he's completely disrupted the rhythm of this contest. And MUTSOLGOV is feeling the pace, but then he employed the headlock. And Traore, well, he's going to be eliminated at the bronze medal stage here. And I really do feel for him, because I feel that call in the second round to deduct a point changed the complexion of this contest and the scorecards, of course, entirely. So MUTSOLGOV, a really good operator. I'm not suggesting that Traore would have got the better of him, but I think he would have been able to produce a more consistent effort had the ref not intervened to the extent that he did. So this man will be going home with championship bronze to add to the continental one that he won last year, and it will be MUTSOLGOV going through to contest world championship gold.
And he's been really impressive, hasn't he? He's been really, really impressive. And he was again there because he's just got that great variety. He can do it at pretty much any distance, really. He can keep it on the outside. He's happy to dig his toes in and have it at mid-range. He's adept at just shoveling that left hand into the body just above the belt line. And he's an extremely tricky fighter to deal with. But I agree with you. Traore had the wind taken out of his sails. I think that's the best way to describe it. But had that not happened, I still feel like the fighter in red would have come out on top, because he is a clinical, very accurate, very cold, well-drilled kind of a fighter. Good to watch as well. Throws his hands, doesn't he?
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, your winner by unanimous decision and advance into the finals. In the red corner from Russia, Ismail MUTSOLGOV!
So Ismail MUTSOLGOV all smiles as he is declared as the unanimous point decision victor over DJIBRIL Traore of Mali. and he will go through to contest championship gold against the man from Kazakhstan, Sabrajan Akalikov, who progressed to the gold medal bout on a walkover. Mr. Sasha Igorov, the sports director of the IBA, presenting the bronze medal and the check of $75,000, and that will continue to fund the federation, a reward for his coach. But this man is now in with a shot at not only the gold but $300,000. That is the prize for the winner, and he did so with a very efficient display.
He really did. He really did. And you just look at him there, he's uptight there, but he's got that guard in place, and then just pecks away with that lead hand and manages to pull his feet back out. That makes himself difficult to find. So the demoralising thing that fighters have found being up against him is that wherever they've taken it, whatever kind of distance they've taken it to, whatever tactics they've tried to employ, he's had an answer for it. It would have been interesting to